So, I've been thinking a lot about the products we buy and the stories behind them. We see slick marketing, huge launch events, and sometimes even our favorite creators or celebrities telling us how amazing something is. But what happens when the reality doesn't live up to the hype? What happens when that must-have gadget or revolutionary new product turns out to be, well, not so revolutionary after all? Today, we're diving into some of the most infamous products that turned out to be total scams, or at the very least massive disappointments. We're going to look at the stories behind them, how they got so much attention, and where it all went wrong. Some of these were backed by big-name investors, huge companies, and massive marketing budgets, which makes their failure even more spectacular. Alright, first up, we have to talk about Juicero. This one is a classic in the world of over-engineered, overpriced tech. Back in 2016, Juicero launched with a ton of fanfare. It was this sleek, beautifully designed, Wi-Fi connected countertop juicer. The company raised something like $120 million in venture capital from big names like Google Ventures. The pitch was simple: the freshest, cold-pressed juice at home with zero cleanup. But the real kicker was the business model. The machine itself cost an eye-watering $700 at launch, though they later dropped it to $400. You couldn't just use your own fruits and vegetables. Each pack had a QR code that the machine would scan to ensure freshness before it even started juicing. But then, a Bloomberg report came out that changed everything. The journalists who got their hands on it discovered something almost too simple to be true. They found that you could just squeeze the packs with your bare hands, and you'd get pretty much the same amount of juice in about the same amount of time. This revelation was devastating. The entire premise of this $400 Wi-Fi connected QR code scanning machine was rendered completely pointless by a simple hand squeeze. Now, moving from a product that was just pointless to one that was genuinely dangerous, let's talk about Theranos. This story is on a whole other level. For a while, Theranos was the darling of Silicon Valley. Its founder, Elizabeth Holmes, was hailed as the next Steve Jobs. She even wore the signature black turtleneck. The company was valued at over $9 billion at its peak. The promise of Theranos was truly revolutionary. They claimed to have developed a technology that could run hundreds of blood tests from just a single, tiny drop of blood taken from a finger prick. This would make blood testing faster, cheaper, and accessible to everyone in places like Walgreens. Holmes was on the cover of magazines, celebrated as a visionary. It sounded like something straight out of science fiction. The problem was the technology didn't work. The Edison machine, the device that was supposed to perform this medical magic, was a complete failure. Behind the scenes, the company was in chaos. To hide the fact that their tech was a bust, Theranos was secretly running most of its tests on commercially available, traditional blood testing machines from other companies like Siemens. And even then, the results they were providing to actual patients were often wildly inaccurate and unreliable. Okay, let's switch gears from high-tech to low-tech with a classic from the world of late-night infomercials, the AbCircle Pro. If you watched TV in the late 2000s, you almost certainly saw the ads for this thing. It was this circular-looking contraption you'd kneel on and then swing your lower body from side to side. The commercials were slick, featuring super-fit models with perfect six-packs, all smiling while they effortlessly swiveled on this machine. The pitch was incredibly seductive. They claimed the AbCircle Pro was a fat-blasting cardio machine and an ab workout all in one. The ads promised you could get a flat stomach and ripped obliques in just 3 minutes a day. They even had a fitness expert named Jennifer Nicole Lee as the spokesperson, who shared her dramatic weight loss story, attributing her success to this one machine. It sounded like the ultimate shortcut to the perfect body, and they sold millions of them. But as you can probably guess, the reality was a bit different. The 3 minutes a day claim was a huge stretch. The claims were so over the top that the company behind the AbCircle Pro eventually got into legal trouble. They were hit with a class action lawsuit and investigated by the Federal Trade Commission for false and deceptive advertising. In the end, the company had to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement and was forced to change its marketing. They had to be more realistic about what the product could actually do. Next up is a product that was less of a machine and more of a fashion accessory with a bold scientific claim, the Power Balance Bracelet. They exploded in popularity around 2010, and you saw them on everyone from regular gym goers to professional athletes like Drew Brees, Shaquille O'Neal, and David Beckham. The claim was that the hologram in the bracelet was programmed with special frequencies that would resonate with and respond to the natural energy field of the body. The marketing was brilliant because it was based on live demonstrations, A salesperson would have you do a balance test without the bracelet, where you'd easily be pushed off balance. Then you'd put on the bracelet, do the same test, and magically, you'd be rock solid. It seemed like undeniable proof. People were amazed. They'd try it themselves and feel the difference instantly. The problem? It was all a classic magic trick. The test was designed to work every time. The first time, the salesperson would push on a point of your body that provides poor leverage. The second time, with the bracelet on, they would push on a point that provides better leverage, like closer to your center of gravity. The scientific community, of course, called foul immediately. Multiple independent studies were conducted, and every single one of them concluded that the power balance bracelets were no more effective than a placebo. Eventually, the company was forced to admit the truth. After a lawsuit from the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, Power Balance Australia had to issue a statement admitting that there is no credible scientific evidence that supports our claims. They had to offer refunds to customers who felt misled. The company's credibility was shattered. This next one is a little different. It's not an outright scam, but it's one of the biggest product flops from one of the biggest tech companies in the world. I'm talking about Google Glass. When it was first announced in 2012, it honestly felt like we were living in the future. A wearable computer in the form of eyeglasses that could show you notifications, give you directions, take photos, and record video, all controlled by your voice. The hype was off the charts. Google marketed it as the next evolution of the smartphone, a device that would free us from looking down at our screens and allow us to stay present in the world. The initial rollout was very exclusive. You had to be a developer or a winner of their If I Had Glass contest to buy the Explorer Edition for a steep $1,500. This exclusivity just fueled the hype even more. The people who had them were seen as pioneers from the future. But when glass finally got into the hands of more people, the cracks started to show. First, there were the massive privacy concerns. The idea of people walking around with a camera constantly pointed at you, able to record at any moment, made a lot of people deeply uncomfortable. Bars and restaurants started banning them. People who wore them in public were sometimes harassed and mockingly called glass holes. Beyond the privacy issues, the product itself was half-baked. The battery life was terrible, the display was clunky, and the voice commands didn't always work. Most importantly, it lacked a killer app. Let's take a trip back in time for this one, to an icon of, as seen on TV culture, the clapper. Clap on, clap off. That jingle is probably burned into the brains of anyone who grew up in the 80s or 90s. The concept was brilliantly simple. It was a small device that you plugged into an electrical outlet, and then you plugged your appliance like a lamp or a TV into it. Then, by clapping your hands, you could turn the device on and off. It was marketed as the height of convenience and a great tool for the elderly or people with mobility issues. No more fumbling for a light switch in the dark. Just a simple sound command. The commercials made it look seamless and magical. A couple in bed claps, and the lights go out. Someone comes home with their arms full of groceries, claps, and the kitchen light turns on. It was a simple, affordable piece of home automation long before smart homes were a thing. The problem was, in practice, the clapper was notoriously unreliable. Sometimes you'd have to clap over and over again, getting louder and more frustrated each time just to get it to work. Even worse was when it worked too well. It would often get triggered by other loud, sharp noises. A dog barking, a door slamming, a cough, or even a loud scene in a movie could accidentally turn your lights on or off. Imagine watching a horror movie, and at the tensest moment, the lamp suddenly turns off because an actor on screen screamed. It went from a convenience to a genuine nuisance. Finally, let's talk about a product category that is still incredibly popular today, especially on social media detox teas. You've definitely seen these. They're promoted all over Instagram by influencers, reality TV stars, and celebrities. The marketing is always the same. Slick photos of people with impossibly flat stomachs, holding a package of Detox or skinny tea. They promise to cleanse your body, reduce bloating, and help you lose weight fast. The branding often uses words like cleanse, detoxify, and purify, making it sound like a healthy wellness product. They suggest that our bodies are full of toxins that need to be flushed out, and that this special blend of herbs is the key to doing it. For a monthly fee, you can get the secret to a flat tummy delivered right to your door. It's a multi-million-dollar industry built almost entirely on social media marketing. But here's the truth that the influencers don't tell you. The primary active ingredient in most of these so-called detox teas is a powerful laxative, usually an herb called senna. The weight loss and debloating that people experience is not from burning fat or flushing toxins. It's simply from the laxative effect, which causes your body to expel water and waste. It's a temporary artificial effect that can lead to dehydration, cramping, and electrolyte imbalances. The entire concept of detoxing is pseudoscience. Your body has its own highly effective detoxification systems, the liver and the kidneys. They do an amazing job of filtering waste and toxins from your body 24/7. There is no scientific evidence to suggest that drinking a special tea can improve this process. Medical experts and dietitians have been very clear about this, so despite the glamorous marketing and celebrity endorsements, detox teas are, at their core, just overpriced laxatives sold with misleading health claims. So, from a $400 juicer that was outsmarted by a pair of hands, to a blood-testing empire built on lies, to a simple bracelet that relied on a magic trick, it's clear that a good story can sell almost anything. These products show that hype doesn't always mean quality. Just because a product has a huge marketing budget, celebrity endorsements, or a futuristic promise doesn't mean it actually works or that you need it. Being a smart consumer means looking past the slick presentation and asking the important questions. What problem does this actually solve? Is there any real science or evidence to back up these claims? But now I want to hear from you again. These are just a few of the most famous examples, but I know there are countless others out there. What's the worst product scam or disappointment you've ever encountered? Share your own stories in the comments below. I'm really looking forward to reading them. And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.